Break it down, Cos.
How dare you?
Holy flying Not much to talk about here. Would you not give your left nut to be a quarterback on that team?
The Wheelhouse. Sunday NFL wrap-up with Bauer.
That team is right now destined for the shit pile.
And the sweet, nasty Chris
It's
Cause.
a victory for my ego, baby.
Welcome to the Wheelhouse here on your Sunday night wrap-up. I was going to say playoff edition of the Wheelhouse, but as I have been texted by Jeff Peck, we are going to be naming this as a favor to him as preseason look at fantasy baseball. Thanks for tuning in. I am Bauer.
I am the sweet, nasty Chris Cause.
And what started off going into this weekend as two of us here on the show having teams that still remained in the hunt for the Super Bowl has ended with this evening's game and only one left in the hunt for the
Last
Super
week
Bowl.
we had, heading into last week's, we had three, which is a first for this show.
Yes. A proud moment, by the way.
No doubt.
Yes.
No doubt. And now there is one.
I will say this.
Frankly, thank God there's one.
I will say this. Moments ago, I was texted, like I said, by the champ Jeff Peck, who didn't ask me and didn't request that we looked at this as a preview of fantasy baseball, but rather saying, I need to get my computer. Start without me if you want to. I'm obviously not in a good mood.
Did you write back? Don't worry, we were.
I said,
we know we were.
Understood. We will be rolling in a few. Join in when you get here. Yeah. So tonight,
but I'll tell you right now, I watched that, and there are a few things I like more in this world than being right.
Yes.
And watching the Giants just beat the Packers was already something I didn't like because that was not what I picked. That is not what I thought would happen. Maybe I am in complete denial because I think this is the luckiest Giants team I have ever fucking seen. But that said, Jeff Peck better get here after what I had to deal with last year.
Well, he's he did just text right now saying be there in 15, so he's on his way. I don't think he's not going to stand us up. That's for goddamn sure.
I had to go take a walk last year.
Mm-hmm.
I found a phone book that was just lying in my driveway. I ripped that to shreds.
Wow.
I wish that.
Here's what's weird. What you guys don't know is that Cos did that with his toes. He didn't even use his hands or his mouth.
Really don't like the Jets.
Really don't.
And I was really, really upset that my dog had died the previous year because I couldn't walk him.
Yes.
Which was what I used to do.
Yeah, that was your normal. Yeah. So we'll. I don't know if I suppose we just wait on Jeff before we get to tonight's game. But I will say this. I felt like what happened this evening. Granted, not to the extent that it happened this evening. But what happened this evening, to a certain extent, I kind of saw there being a momentum change. It felt like there was a little bit of a momentum change last week, and that was mainly. Listen. Every big
story. You brought that up.
I did, and my thought process is: listen, the biggest story in the NFL for the past 2 to 3 weeks has been Tim Goddamn Tebow, which is my new nickname for him. But I
don't think he appreciates that.
By the way, a little redundant, I know, but nonetheless.
I will tell you the link that you sent me there to the Barstool Sports. You can really, in this day and age, you can find evidence to almost support any hypothesis.
Yes,
but that's pretty clever.
It was pretty clever.
So post that onto the website so you can all
we will
share in that link.
Everybody can enjoy that.
At lastradio.com.
I just. There was this feeling that I had, and I thought to myself, it seemed, first of all, it seemed not too long ago, a few weeks back, that the Giants almost had the Packers number, and that wasn't, a full force, that wasn't in a full momentum, that wasn't completely tipping over the Atlanta Falcons like a cow on its side with its inability to get up at all. I mean, it was sort of just a regular season, wow, look what we can do against the toughest team in the NFL, or one of the toughest teams in the NFL. These guys, with the Giants and with the history between these two teams and with the history of playing at Lambeau between these two teams, there's not a shred of fear in the Giants whatsoever. There's not an ounce of intimidation. It showed 3 weeks ago in New York. I felt like it showed going into tonight's game. There wasn't an ounce of fear. They weren't intimidated. There was nothing to roll over at that point. It was just it was going to be a who could punch who harder in the mouth kind of a game. And to that extent, I did not expect the Giants to come out and punch as hard as they did against the Green Bay Packers because they punched hard.
Well, like you said, maybe we should hold off.
We should hold. I don't want to. Let's do this. First of all, let's start out with what could be, and I tweeted this the other day, one of the greatest football games I've ever seen in my life.
Certainly the last 5 minutes of that game.
Holy mackerel.
I watched let's see, believe it or not, I actually played tennis yesterday.
Oh, look at you.
I did, yeah. Wow. I got out there, played a little tennis. And, I missed a little of the first quarter of the Saints-49ers game.
Mm-hmm.
Watched all of the second quarter.
Mm-hmm.
My in-laws were in town, so I missed. So we went to dinner, and I came back. In time, the Saints had just scored to go ahead, like 24-23, with just under 5 minutes to go. I was like, oh, all right, this will be an exciting little ending. Let's see how this goes. And having no idea that we were going to see some of the greatest 5 minutes of playoff football, in NFL history.
It was. I watched the whole game from beginning to end, and it was a slobber knocker. It was the same concept going into tonight's game that I thought was going to happen, where who was going to punch whom harder in the mouth. That's what we saw happening, and all I wanted to see for the life of me, I didn't have the same belief that you and Jeff had of the Niners being able to beat the Saints. I didn't have that in my heart because my Lions had been crushed, and I fully believed that Drew Brees was unstoppable. But what I wanted more than anything else was to see Drew Brees and the Saints offense be stopped, and it happened, and it was. Don't get me wrong.
For the most part, it really did. Like I said, up until that final 5 minutes.
Correct. There was a battle.
Brees is going to get his.
Yeah, there was a battle going on there, and there was the part that I love the best, and I love this when I'm watching Drew Brees, even against the Lions. I love this when I'm watching Tom Brady, and I love this when I'm watching, even tonight, watching Aaron Rodgers. I feel like. And I tweeted this too. 21-point deficit to Drew Brees is nothing. He's not even. He laughs at that. Yeah. He points to that. He laughs at that. He'll whip his dick out and slap it around the face a couple of times. Like, that's nothing to him. That's nothing to any of those guys. And you never feel, even tonight, I never felt like with the deficit that the Packers were going through that there was any question in my mind that Aaron Rodgers could come back. That there was a capability of that.
If anybody could have caught a pass, that really would have helped him out.
Or how about this? Held on to a pass. That would have been
held on to a pass.
That would have been a good start. But watching Drew Brees, that was an exciting part. Going, okay, let's see how he's going to manage to do this. Just as a football fan, to watch that game, that was a hugely exciting and fun game to watch.
It was unbelievable to see Alex Smith finally take this leap. 8 years into his career.
Mm-hmm.
You go, well, this guy was drafted first overall. This is what you expect him to do, with small hands and all. But that's what he did. He finally led this team on that final drive. He just looked at you and went, all right, there's probably, maybe he can get them into field goal range. Maybe they can tie this, and maybe they can eke it out in overtime. But just full on goes, nope. I'm going to Vernon Davis, and then I'm going to go to Vernon Davis, and then I'm going to go to Vernon Davis.
And hold on, there's Vernon Davis. Okay, there we go.
If you don't want to stop him, thanks.
What's odd, and maybe I didn't catch it. Maybe I was just too busy smiling the entire time I was watching the game. I'm not sure, but I didn't hear anybody mention until today that both Alex Smith and Drew Brees, this is their contract year. This is the last year. This is free agency technically. Should they both be allowed to go there, which they won't, but. This is that contract game. This is the contract year, and I realized both of those guys just played their asses off yesterday, and that Niners defense is, for as young as they are, holy shit, those guys are amazing. That
Niners defense is for real. They play a lot better at home. Yeah. Not that they play all that bad on the road either.
No,
but it's not like they have a great front line. Oh, they have a great secondary. It's not like it's the whole thing.
The whole grouping.
And it's young, and it's fast, and it's ball hungry,
Oh,
and they're not intimidated. I think that's the real impressive thing. The Saints are coming in there on an unbelievable roll. Few teams are hotter
right,
heading into that game,
right.
and they didn't care.